What is going on? Hey, Caitlin Martinez, and I am just here to share my story. I don't think you know any of this about me yet, but let's just dive right in. So, I have struggled with health issues probably my entire life. And I'm sure you feel the same way, right? Some of you, I talk to a lot of you, every day I get DMs and messages from people who are struggling with their health. And I get it, I've been there. This sounds like one of those pharmaceutical company. Anyways, I have had IBS my entire life. I have had lactose intolerance. I've had stomach aches most of my life. And it started as a baby. And overall, I didn't realize how much stress affected my stomach, my anxiety, at some point, depression. So as a teenager, as a kid, I struggled with stomach aches all the time to where this is really gross, but constipated for weeks and weeks and weeks. I remember having to take this nasty drink when all my family was over. I was probably 8 years old just to go to the bathroom. And I didn't know, my mom didn't know that the foods I was putting in my body and the stress, I really believe the stress in my family was causing me to have major gut issues. And I just didn't realize it at the time. And then time goes on, and I go into high school, and I am literally on Pepto-Bismol and lactose intolerant, lactate milk, and don't do so much as I do some dairy. I just didn't know. And my mom and dad got divorced when I was 12. My dad has done an amazing turnaround. The Lord has changed his life. The Lord has changed his heart. He is a whole new man. My mom was a single mom, and my dad was there. We see him on the weekends. We had a good relationship with him, but my dad just wasn't there when I was younger. And he's grown through so much of that, but I was striving after men. And so I had boyfriends in high school, and the stress of having to take care of my sisters and driving at 16 so I could have a job, and high school, and having a boyfriend who I started dating. I had boyfriends before this, but started dating my husband now, Nick, at age 15. And we made bad choices physically. And even though I grew up in the church, I knew all this stuff, I could still see myself running to food. And I would go when I get home every day, and I would sit in front of the TV, literally right in front of the TV, bring my chair up to the TV. I would just grab the unhealthy food that my mom would buy, and it'd be Pop-Tarts or cereal or whatever, and I would just eat it. And I'd eat it to numb myself. I would eat it to numb the pain of the struggle and the hormones. And my mom was doing her best. She was working so hard to take care of our family. And I was the oldest of 3 girls. And so I had to do all of this and still maintain great grades. And I was in color guard in high school, and I had the boyfriend and all this stuff. And I just didn't realize that all of this was putting nasty foods in my body that was not serving my gut well. I just didn't know. And I realized that started my binging and my overeating and my really unhealthy habits of running to food to numb the pain. And then the anxiety and the massive panic attacks. I remember panic attacks in high school where I felt outside of myself because I was literally losing control of my body. I was losing control of my anger, it was hard. I remember multiple attacks. I would kick holes in the wall and punch holes in the wall, and I was so strong-willed that I did not know how to channel that anger, how to channel that energy, that frustration, that stress. And I would just run to food. I would just have these angry outbursts. And in college, I had roommates that were just so different than me, and they were so sweet and kind and loving, and I was very strong-willed again. I was strong-willed as a kid, and I think you understand where I'm coming from, right? Some of you are like this, and you have your different story. But time goes on, I realized that I still have this eating disorder. It is a disorder. I was binging all the time, but I realized I was getting fat. And I was not an athlete. I was never an athlete. I know that shocks you. I was never on the color. I was never in volleyball. I was never in basketball. I wanted to do all those things. And I was made fun of. And I had a really large breast. And I was unhealthy. I had big thighs. And I was not one of the cool people. And I really, really struggled So to see me today and see have all this confidence I have, it has been over a lifetime of being let go of from church jobs. And seeing that I was struggling because I was over exercising and under eating, like 3 hours a day exercising and under eating like under 1,800 calories, to the point where I lost my period. I didn't know that I could ovulate, and we got pregnant. I was married, but it was like I was about to go into Michigan and to get a job as a youth pastor there. But God had different plans for me. Over and over and over again, he would cry out to me, and he wanted me. He wanted my heart. But I was running to all these other things and food. I would binge on the weekends. I would starve myself during the week, and I would treat myself all weekend long, and then back on the cycle. Do you ever feel that way? Do you ever feel that cycle of the cheat weekends? And I know you do. I talk to all of my members at the gym, and a lot of them struggle with this. I just can't get my eating in, and then I get back on the wagon. I hate that phrase, back on the wagon. What wagon? It's not a wagon. It's not a diet. It's a freaking healthy lifestyle. Let me tell you this. The stress, the binging, the anxiety that I've had as a kid, I believe in the products that I would put on my body that I didn't know were harmful for me, led me to have hashimotos. I had massive stomach aches after my first baby. Second baby got worse and worse. And I would do all these elimination diets, and I could not figure it out. And I finally got tested, and I had hypothyroid. And then I got pregnant again with my third baby. And the stress from the job I was in was literally killing me. Literally. I was in so much pain, so much stress. Every single day I would be crying. Okay? And I would be so hurt about what I was going through. My stomach would just, because when you're stressed, chronic stress over time, and then you're eating unhealthy food, which I was eating paleo, but my body was not digesting well. And I didn't know I had Hashimoto's, but my antibodies went up. So I had to go see a doctor, fork out a lot of money, because I had to go to a holistic nutritionist. Like, it was an integrative medicine doctor. So I went to him, and he was like, yep, you have Hashimoto's. And I was just crushed, because I was told that I didn't have it. So I went and got a second opinion. So it turns out that I can't get over that. And he kept saying, you have to get your stress under control, Caitlin. I was teaching multiple classes a week. I was working out extra hard with kids. I was homeschooling. I was trying to run a business. And I was like killing myself. I was overwhelmed to the point where my Hashimoto's kept flaring up. And when I flare up, my anxiety, my mood goes through the roof, and my stomach just goes to pieces. And it was just through prayer and meditation and journaling and taking rest and stepping away from that business at that time. That was really hard. And getting off of some things and adjusting my diet, all to help me heal. And I'm healed. Like, I have like gut issues every now and then just when I see stress creep up in my life, but it's nothing to where I have been. Nothing. And I was talking with somebody the other day, and it all goes back to wanting to be loved, wanting to be accepted, the binging, wanting this perfect body, the overexercising, wanting to have my mom there and be present. And I've never had to work through this until I started to want to write a course and do a group coaching for all these women that are reaching out to me. And all of you that are hurting, and I feel your pain. And I want you to know that what you're going through is not normal. And there is a side. I didn't have this confidence, this energy, this body, this amount of brain clarity and sleeping well. I was like yelling at my kids all the time, or on the couch in pain, or just in thinking that I really want to kill myself right now, but what would I do with my kids? I get it. And that's why the Lord has placed this massive burden on my heart, because a diet is not going to change you. Working out 2 or 3 hours a day is not going to change you. It's about your perspective. It's about your mindset. It's about having this relationship with the Lord and seeing why you want to be healthy. Seeking out really healthy avenues to heal your body, because God made your body to be healed. God made your body to run on certain foods. God made your body and your mind to not be in chronic stress 24/7. And so I am creating this group coaching that I want to help you. And it's going to be like a building block, and it's just like a small, and I'm just brainstorming on what this is going to look like. So just stay tuned. But I wanted to share your story about my story about why this is so important to me. And just to show you that I know you're hurting, and I know that you can be an overcomer, that you can break through that anxiety, that depression, that overeating, that undereating, that stress, the overexercising just to fit in or just to be liked and loved, and have the confidence in the body and the mind back. I want you to feel normal and feel confident in your skin, because sister, let me tell you this right now. You and I are put on this earth for a reason. You and I have purposes, and we cannot live out those purposes that God has given us, those callings God has given us, if we are sick, depressed, unhealthy, and full of anxiety and overwhelm. We can't. So would you join me? Would you reach out to me? I will post this survey that you can fill out for me, and be on the lookout, because I'm going to have a beta group. It's going to be really closed. It's not going to have a big group of women. And so first come, first serve in that. And I'm really excited for what God's going to do in this group, through my heart, through your heart, because you deserve better, and your family deserves better. You were made for so much more than what you're doing right now. You're made for greatness, to bring Him glory. So that's my goal. If you have any questions on what Hashimoto's is, or how like IBS and all that stuff, like, this is a great place to go. Great place to go. Or if you just want to learn how to eat healthy and be nourished, it's a great place to go. But if you don't know where I'm at, over Instagram on the Caitlin Martinez. I'm over on Facebook with Caitlin Martinez. So always slide into my DMs and reach out to me about that, or bring it or type in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.